picture I showed you before, this was taken on an iPhone 7 Plus.
The Earth is a very small stage, the only home we've ever known.
Additional equipment and software used? Hey everyone. So have you guys seen those clips or short films and commercials that said shot on iPhone or shot on smartphone, and you thought, hey, that's my phone. Did they really do that with a smartphone? Well, technically the answer is yes, but usually not without some heavy adaptation. Now, usually the camera does pretty good and you get some outstanding shots. However, it's very rare because when you're doing video, your arms start to shake, or the wind picks up, or you have exterior noises. There's so many variables, it's hard to get the perfect shot. However, with a little bit of added gear, you can make that happen. Say take this example from the video, shot entirely on phones. Some of the shots are literally just the smartphones, and so smartphone on a selfie stick, smartphones on a mount, no special attachments needed. But a lot of shots get much more complicated, whether it be a smartphone on a tiny drone, smartphone on a larger drone, or a smartphone on a city lens with a gimbal on a follow focus, on attached to a motorized skateboard that's motorized. That is a lot right there. So at the end of the video, on a commercial, whatever you're watching, you see filmed entirely on a Samsung smartphone or an iPhone. Smartphone cameras are actually, for the most part, pretty good. They're actually the most popular cameras actually in the world. And you might even have heard before, but the best camera is the one you have with you. Of course, you want to take your camera to the next level. So for photos, obviously the sensor and the glass on the front of the camera are their only permanent things about the smartphone camera. Lens adapter systems out there allow you and exist to give you that different layer. There's a bunch of different styles, whether it be the clip-on versions, the bumper versions, the case versions, where like the moment lenses, they actually screw into the actual case. I haven't been able to get one of those, but they're super nice. So as you've seen with the moment lens, those are great lenses, and we'll talk about this one and that one just a little bit. This one was half the cost, or 3/4 less, right? Still middle of the line lens. There was really a lot of cheaper ones underneath this one. This one came with a lot of options. It had a 120-degree wide-angle lens. It says 0.5 times super wide-angle lens with macro, 4K. And I saw a charging cable in there, and I thought, what's that all about? It even came with a clip-on light, high, medium, and low. So I thought that was great. Came with a little leather carrying case. Also came with a hard shell case, hard shell plastic with fabric zipped up with a little carabiner, so you could, carry that with you. So I thought, well, that's fantastic. How is this going to do? Even had the lens mount. I don't know if you can quite see that, but it even had a segment area cut out so it can adapt to the iPhone 6 all the way through the iPhone 10. However, lining it up with the lens and not getting that vignette outside look was very difficult, I must say. I kept having to adjust it and get it just right. Where with the moment lens, they have their own cases, so every time you screw that lens in, you're going to get a perfect alignment with that sensor, and you're not going to have that outside vignette. With this one, I was constantly adjusting that, and I'll show you the difference of outside distortion. This one had a lot of distortion and noise on the outside of the image. But the moment lens doesn't have that same noise and blurriness on the outside. So if you're a hobbyist photographer, or you're just using this on a trip to capture the whole building, or you're a real estate agent and you're just trying to capture the whole house with the trees and everything, and you're only going to use this once in a while, sure, this would be great. However, if you find yourself using a wide-angle lens more and more, and you're like, okay, I really have a need for this as a kit in my toolbox, I would definitely advise you to go with a moment lens. We'll show you the difference between the outside noise and blur with both of these, with this one and some images that I've captured online from the Moment lenses, and we'll kind of put it side by side with that and let you guys do a compare to see, okay, do I really want to spend $200 on a Moment lens, or do I want to spend around $40 or $50 on this Aronco lens? So yeah, I'll put a link in the description below for both of these and where you can find these, because this one was a great little midline wide angle lens, and it served its purpose of doing this review and kind of seeing how they compare with the Moment lens. So let's take a closer look. Okay, let's throw that wide angle lens on and take a look here. So with the wide angle Aronco lens, if I'm saying that correctly, I get the whole house, even part of the neighbors. Nice cinematic look. I'm going to take the lens off here, and I'm in the same position. I didn't move. However, you can see how it cuts that down. I don't see that part of that car, and also cuts off the neighbor's house, and I lose the complete tree. This other one, I moved to the corner of the house, or excuse me, the corner of the street. I'm still using the wide angle lens. You see the vignette and the outside fogginess distortion on the outside of this picture. I take the lens off, the wide angle lens off. I'm in the same position. It cuts off the tree, but it goes back to the sharper image because it's just the standard camera. I don't have the same distortion. I threw that wide angle lens, changed positions of that house, kind of give it a different cinematic look. You see the whole entire tree. However, when I take it off, you actually lose part of that angle, part of the tree, some of the house, and so you actually lose that cinematic look. I took some images from Moment. I want to give them a shout out. Went to their YouTube channel, and you can see where they're using their old lens versus their new lens. Their newer one doesn't have that vignette look. It completely takes that vignette away there. Also really crispy pictures, they call it, real crisp images. I really like how they did the new lenses, especially with their cases. You don't get that vignette look on the outside. Just kind of showing you the wide angle cinematic look that you can get from this. Again, I got this from the Moment YouTube channel, and hope that helps with the comparison there. So we'll just take a little look at this. That's on the left hand side, a little bit of distortion on the outside, where on the new one it's nice and crisp and you don't have that distortion on the outer edge. So one segment I want to cover is video. Video plays a huge role when it comes to our smartphones, and there's a lot of things that can affect the way we take video and how the video turns out, whether it be the camera jitter, whether it be us touching the camera and zooming in and it being bumpy, and when we go to pan and follow, it just makes us sick because we're losing vertigo, right? However, that's when we start looking at image stabilization. And so when we start stabilizing that camera and how we're going to do that, that's what brings me to the Smooth 4 gimbal. I really love this device. Our phone just clips right into it. All the controls are right there on the handle. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, all without touching the screen. It's all right there in the handle. When I go to pan follow my subject, it's literally out of the box. I charge it up, I balance it inside the gimbal, and it's a point and shoot. It makes the whole video go to the next level, and that's what really this whole segment is all about, is how to take your iPhone or your smartphone and take it to the next level for very cheap, right? And so I show just that. Taking that and putting it inside the gimbal allows me to walk over different terrain, allows me to get cool angles and whatnot without actually having to touch the screen, without having to bump it. It smooths everything out as a 3-axle gimbal, and I'm showing right here in this clip. It compensates for all those movements, and it has a tripod, so I can set it down and take still shots. I can set it down and take still videos without having that camera jitter. I can also pick it up and it compensates. I can rest it against my body if I need to and walk, and it equalizes as it goes. And of course they make other adapters where we can put external mics onto the actual gimbal itself, and there's lighting that you can attach to it. However, I noticed with the external lenses, like we showed earlier with the wide angle lenses, sometimes that adds too much weight, and so if you don't have a counterbalance, or you don't move to a larger gimbal, it won't support it. So just be conscientious of that while using these gimbals. So with that being said, hopefully in this video you've learned the things that you can actually maybe add to that iPhone or smartphone to give you that little competitive edge or that smooth cinematic look that you were going for in your videos, and make it look a little bit more professional and easier on the eyes when you're watching, whether it be a school recital or your kids, at play, just playing with a soccer ball or baseball or whatnot. So hope you've enjoyed this. It's been definitely a pleasure of mine, and as always, we thank you for watching and stopping by. Please click the subscribe button and the little bell. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, we thank you for watching Jones Tech Review.